So the point that we are going to talk. So,
again, okay. I will show you the topic that I would like to know. Okay, so maybe just this one. Okay, this one. Okay, group number 1.
Can we share our screen?
Sure. Why not? I'll stop share right now. Yep.
Ray, can you do that? Or Kuya?
You said you just talk, but you have slide. That's great. That's great.
Thanks.
Oh, you done an essay? No, just kidding.
Thank you so much. We, as a result of our grade 1 discussion, we have came up with several ideas with the question that provided by Arjun. So for the first point of discussion, we see that there are several ideas for sustainable city, but we try to combine the area that really make that is essential for making a city to be sustainable. The first thing that we need to consider is, the local culture and context. So we really want to structure our city as a bottom approach. So that's why we try to promote the local culture and context, and then we focus on the accessibility so that our city is vibrant and the people, the resident could commute around very easily, and there is a some extent of proximity so that they can move around. As we have pointed out in the number A, we think that that's come the idea of mixed use. So we were trying to focus on the local culture and context, and the accessibility. So that's why we came up with the idea that we need to use the mixed use designing in order to build sustainable cities. And finally, we also came up with the idea that we need to consider the geographical nature, because we cannot change the geographical nature when it comes to planning city. So we must acknowledge that the nature of the town, whether it is on the mountain ranges, or it's on the delta, or it's a landlocked. So we have to build our city that is aligned with our geographical nature, the unchangeable geographical nature. And we also have some question about thinking about the mixed use. We are really curious. Is there any criteria for a particular community to be readiness for a mixed use system? Well, what would be the criteria for a certain community to make mixed use design? Is that be like could it be a income, or like could it be the education level of the residents? And yeah, and now I will hand over to my roommate, Kuye. Can you please?
Thank you, Sabio. Thank you for your extensive explanation on the number 1. So the number point 2 is, it is quite clear, but actually to be honest with you all, but we haven't discussed in very detail about in number 2. But we all our group member, all of our group member believe that if we would like to have the city, sustainable city, the misuse system is the best way so far, because we have learned like 2-3 lectures. So but so I think so for let me hand over to Rain to explain number 3.
So is going to talk about the stakeholders of the civic development. Based on the previous lecture, we see the development as the combinations of management and governance. So we separate the stakeholders of management and stakeholders of the governance. And in the management system, we can hand over to the tax to the private sector, like the private sector, because in the developing countries like the Myanmar, there's a still lack of good governance. So only the governance cannot allow the shape the development of the city development. So we need to how can I say, we need to share the we need to share the sector to the private sector, like the condominium management company limited, or other the best transportation system. Based on my knowledge, it's also in China, condominium management is also under the private sector, I assume. And in the governance system, is focus on democratic participations and deliberation, is where we collaborative governance, where government and individual local residents, CSO, and private sectors, and senior citizens, and so on. So we mean in the governance, in the considerations of stakeholders of the governance, we can cooperate with the centralized clerks to the other decentralizations of locals or other regional committees. And importantly, and as the last one, we consider academia and research institutions as the stakeholders of sustainability. And in this point, we can invite the scholars from other developed countries and other international academia or experts to develop our own strategies, or like the methods of how to how to drive the city sustainability and within the boundaries of mixed use system. That's all.
Interesting. Interesting. I would like you all.
Arjen, let me because let me add one thing, because during our discussion, so we found some question, like one is already mentioned by Gu Sapil, but we still have another question. So I mean, when we see that your presentation in the misuse model, but I haven't noticed that any designated place for the religious activity in the misuse system. So I mean, it is great if you can answer this question as well.
I think it answers by itself, because you know what, like all the three questions that you guys have done right in this group, the question number 3 is so clear than other questions, because people who believe on the governance, right? We never thought about religious people, we never thought about academian people, we never thought about the local segment or private properties. Those people have to become one of thought, right? And ready or not, I don't know, but those network, each kind of network, they have their own system. Once you understand the system, once that you understand how they connect to each other individually, you will know like how to mix each stakeholder together. Right now, you just a concept, you have no idea, right? In your own place, like, okay, I just thought about myself. I just thought about people who living inside a residential, but I never thought about local government. I never thought about the academian temple nearby. I never thought about that. But those are community network as well. So you have to understand community network around you, and then try to find the common issue or common area or common figures that can mix, right? Not everything can mix. but we have to share it, right? If you want to mix with the religion communities, it could share by area, it could share by time, but not everything that you can share. You cannot mix everything, right? Then you can understand what it could be common idea for the communities, because community defined by people, by community networks, right? That is very tricky because you can never answer question number one, or you cannot answer the question number two. You have to understand stakeholder first, because right now you're sitting from top down, you're sitting everything beautifully, but exactly like people on the ground, you never ground up people in it. So it's hard to understand, to answer question number two for sure. And question number one is very hard to convince, because you just think it by yourself. You have to share it with the other people. อาจารย์ประนอม you have any comment ไหมครับ
I just like to mention about the questions that you have. You have do you think that do we have criteria for the mixed use for the community or city that should be mixed use? I think mixed use is a basic aspect of the community in the past. So every community has it, because we start from hunting and gathering, right? And then agriculture. So agriculture, maybe our workplace is in our farmland, but our home is very close to our farmland, right? And then later on, when city develop, as I said, I like to imagine about the city in medieval time, when people stay very close in one place, and so they make their own products in their homes. So I think it's not, I think it's a basic thing that we used to have long time ago. So does it need a criteria to be back to the to normal? I don't think so. Anyway, you can look at this concept in a new urbanism concept if you like to. It's a concept developed in United States for, I think, 20 years ago, and you can look at the concept of city development, compact cities from the British Isle. So from the two continental, they share something, like small cities, neighborhood, and people should be able to walk to wherever they want to walk or cycle. So the neighborhood or the city is quite small, and then it will be connected with the transportation, public transport. So if you are interested in this concept, you can look to these two concepts if you like. We don't really have this concept in our classes. Isn't it, Ajahn Poo?
That's right. You can learn more. You can just put out something. We just some figure that you want to learn.
It's in the area of another subject, actually. But anyway, because we talk about sustainable development, we may touch some of these in the next two classes.
Yeah, and what? Thank you, Ajahn Kai, very much. I think so. Like, we mix our activity before we have the name mixed use. Before it as a mixed use, we mix already. Like when you go to the suburb, like people or uncle, they church land. They didn't feel that it's public. They feel it's private. Even in the center of the community, right? It feel home, and they also work and live in the same place. The mixed function is already exceed before we have mixed use, right? But the question number 3 is very great that you have done, because I think you have to put up in your proposal, in your ideas, right? You cannot defining the city by your own self, and you have no idea to make the urban sustainability by not knowing other network. You don't know. You have to learn. Then you can find the connections to elevate something. And for the final question number one, I think you answer by bullet point. I don't like it because bullet is divide the topic. You could come up with one ideas, like it could be green transportation, that's it, or maybe it could be like cultural mapping for uh, green business, something like make it one concept that you already mix it. Okay, but so far so good, like 30 minutes you've done very well.
Great.
And good job. Okay, moving on to group number 2. Let's see how it be, like the group that already know the tactics, but tactic never become a strategy. And
Actually, we did in the whiteboard again, but I don't know where it was disappear. But let me share the screen in Word files. I just typed.
that's fine. Thank you very much.
We discussed a lot in the class, but we are on the way to writing, and then the session was already finished. And please let me hand over to our roommate to Jolene to present about this, because we choose one example of the city because we choose his city, so that is why.
Thank you so much, Marie, for your screen sharing. So yes, sir. So we have discussed about different kind of issues that my cities have been pieces, and we also try to answer this question based on the reality that my cities pieces now. So as to
Can you switch on your camera? I don't really know who's talking.
Oh, yeah, he already opened the camera.
Really? So it's called.
Yeah, it's calling.
Okay, sorry. Maybe it's too small in my screen. Thank you. Sorry.
I spotlight you right now, Colin.
It's okay. Thank
Hello?
you.
Can you see me now?
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So as you say, we firstly, try to answer the question, what is the common idea for our cities, and if we think about from the perspective of sustainable cities. So what we think is that our cities have faces many challenges and problems. So if we want our city to be a sustainable city, we need to improve the kind of challenges that we are facing. So one of them is the sanitation system that we are facing, because the city's sanitation system is really bad for the people. So we need to amend such kind of things, and we also need to improve the cleaner of the cities, like the roads and other kind of. This is the 2 points. Another point is that we also have cultural place, and actually the people living in our city have their own custom and cultures and their practice, and we need to consider about that and how what they really want. And the kind of thing. Another part is that our cities, we have a kind of foreign investment project near our cities. So this is why I think it is very important for my town to include the role of FDI, foreign direct investment, if we want my cities to be a sustainable one. So you have foreign investment, like the construction and bridge, and also the seaport, like the D seaport near my town. So this is why I think my city to be a sustainable one, we need to consider this factor. So before answering the questions too, how do we take sustainability? I think we should answer the questions 3. Who are the key stakeholders in my city? So before talking about to the non-government factor, we firstly need to think, how is the management system in my city? So talking about from this perspective, I think we need to have a kind of responsibles and manageables, urban, governing bodies like the municipal. Of course, we have municipal now in my cities, but it is not quite responsible. It is not quite responsive. It is not quite accountable to the people, because it is only, appointed by the people from the state government. So actually they also have no, power to manage the city affair. So this is why we need to change the management system in our city. I think this is an important point if we think about, the role of stakeholders. And the second point is that there's also many non-governmental organizations in my area who are also interested in improving, the situation in my town. So this include, environmental organization, and also like a private sector, also the businessmen who are also the community leader in the town, and other kind of religious group also, because they're also interested in this area. So I think we need to have a holistic coalition between the key stakeholders in my area. So we need to have such kind of governing system in my town. So to adapt another point to this area, I think we also need to recognize the role of the international non-governmental organization, because they are also a bit donor for these projects, because they are very interested in green policies and green environments and how to do a sustainable and green cities for our town. So this is why I think we need to consider the role of this organization as well. So especially they can be a donor, and we can also, take not just the material resource, but also the human resource, like the technical system from there, how to do it better. So this is the answers that we have been discussing about the third question. And for the second question, I think how do we do the city sustainable? So as it is mentioned, we need to consider is from at least 3 perspectives, like the commercial and also environmental, and also for the city's resident. So think about from this perspective, I think we also need to consider, how to improve the securities of my cities or all the town, and at the same time, how to maintain the cultural, how to adapt the transformation of the cities with the existing cultural, practice and custom like this. And based on these perspectives, I think our city need to focus on these 3 areas. First, we need to improve the security of the town, especially for women and children, especially at the night. It is very challenging from the security perspective for women and children in my city. So firstly, we need to take security perspective, and secondly, we need to take the cultural perspective, and thirdly, it have to be, commercial. it have to be common issues for the city residents. So based on these three chapters, I think we need to do the sustainable of my city. So this is the answers that we have been discussing about the second question. So thank you so much for your time and concentration. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's very nice. Or any idea from your groups, like you want to put on, that's fine. But for me, I think your group is pretty nice about question number 2, because you are the people who working, you are actor. So you know how to do, right? You security issue, and then creating maintenance place, and then elevate it to a new design as a place, or do something. You know an action, but you see things from bottom. So the stakeholder is pretty hard to type it down, because you don't know which government, which organization would help you, or which private sector would help you. That is very pain point from local entrepreneurs, because you lack of that knowledge, you lack of that connection. So you have to find a partner, and you have to bring them into your missions, into your agendas. And it's just not one action, but you have the whole agenda, which is split for many missions. So that's why the question number 1, I think, is the key, because you have to know what is the strength of your network or communities. And then I know it's very meantime that 4 of you have to share something. But right now, as I see, like, if 4 of you have to be a city network to each others, what it could be common missions, right? One city could be more than just one mission, right? And especially in Chiang Mai, we are digital nomad, as well as art and craft design, as well as historical building. But what is the topic that is your community can work with your networking, right? That could be a common idea. But question number 2, I think is pretty nice, because you are an actor, so you know how to do, but you don't know what next, because once you can creating conceptual idea, or you can creating something new, that's just there. That's just there. No one will be a partner. You have to strengthen up, like you have to push, get the knowledge that who are your partner, who are the organization that can make it come true, and bring them into the question number 2, right? But before question number 2, understanding question number 1, what is the strength of your communities, and try to find the networking and learn by each other, let them help, right? I think it's very interesting, and I think question number 2 you can answer very well. Thank you very much. Ajahn Pranom, you have any comment?
Only short observations. I think, as Ajahn Pu said, I agree that you have mentioned about the issue that is quite important and neglected by normal observation. For example, security issue or sanitation and cultural places. I think these are the important things that need to have and need to be maintained and flourish and make it in a good shape for a good city, of course. And for the stakeholders, at first, I think you only write like municipality, and then you don't know really, and you said that they don't do their work, right? And I think maybe sometimes we have that kind of problem, as well as in Chiang Mai at the moment. We also have that problem too, but and with the networks of people who work together, as you mentioned there, and then I think the outside network will make the municipality stronger, I think, because it make force to make them to do their duties. But of course, we cannot leave in the hands only for the municipality, right? I think that's not the meaning of sustainable development, because we need the hands of everybody. We call it inclusive development. So everybody needs to be included in the process. So not only in the hands of the government, local government.
And one thing I want to mention is like you never be tricked by the questions. You never question yourself, is it mixed use or not? It's already mixed use already, right? You didn't trick by questions. That's nice. I think that's very nice. That's very nice that you didn't trick by questions. Okay, moving on to the last group. Group number 3 have Future City. Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Are
Yeah,
you-
can we present?
Yeah.
Could you stop share for group 2?
Okay. Group number 3, Future City. I would like to see what future would look like.
Yeah, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'd like to present about our future city. But the idea came from, you know, our group members, each member of our group, you know. But, you know, it will take time to build a future city, right? Because, you know, we have to start from the beginning. So, okay. So this is our future city. We name our future city is the Eureka because it's named after the, you know, Archimedes when he invented the new ideas like that. So in this presentation, we will cover 3 main questions. What is the common idea and what does the city make sustainability and who are the stakeholders? So basically, our future city will include from all people from all classes and background. They came from, you know, different backgrounds, different religions, different identities, and of the different groups. And so what is the common idea for sustainable city? So our city common idea is to be a metropolitan city and it will be eco-friendly. And, you know, we will go with the civic-centric approach because, you know, every citizen will be entitled to the benefits of this future city. But for the, you know, foreigners and the tourists, we will also include the pluralism and social inclusion as our, you know, core principle. And another is the equality. Also, we will give mutual respect among each other. Also, we will prioritize the human rights and justice, and also we will provide the public transportation for our future cities. So the next slide is about what does the city make sustainability. So we will use, you know, multi-use design. So this is one of the you know, ideas of one of the example for the infrastructure. So let's see, these are, you know, so many areas such as residential, communities, so when it comes to the, you know, religious buildings, we design with for the multiple use because sometimes it can be the, you know, religious purpose for the people. Sometimes it can be the hall or the township center for the resident meeting or something like that. And also, when it comes to park, sometimes, you know, it can be for the recreation purpose, and sometimes it can be for the exercise, for the people who want to do exercise. And also, it can also be the flooding area for the carpets, right? So it is the multi-use purpose, yeah. Another is museum, also the movie theater. So we just want to, you know, be culture, we will use the multiculturalism approach. So we build the museum for this purpose as well. And also we build the university, eco-friendly zone, shopping mall, market, coffee shops, or restaurants like that. So for the environmental, when it comes to the environmental conservation, we will use e-payment mostly for the eco-friendly purpose. And so we also, you know, consider about the strategic approach and tactic approach. So this building came from the, you know, mostly came from the tactic approach. But when it comes to the strategic approach, if the people, you know, throw the trash wrongly or incorrectly, they will be charged. So this is really strict, and this came from the strategic approach. And another is we also integrate the gender sensitive views in this design. So we will, you know, we don't allow any sexual harassment or any kind of sexual harassment in our new city. And in the meanwhile, we will also tax the, you know, capitalists who own the industries or the something like that. We will test them, and then we will use these tags for the social welfare like that. And also, as we freedom of speech is one of our core ideas, so we will also allow any protest. So in the sometimes they can protest in the park or like that. Yeah. Yes, this cover for the second question. So now I would like to invite Jonathan for the last slide. Yeah.
All right. Hello. Okay, so I'm gonna continue to explain our future city stakeholders, and the first one that in many places people forget that the local residential people are also a stakeholder. That's why so for our groups future city we would like to add local residential representative as a stakeholder, and since we also have schools and universities in our city, and we would like to have a student union as a stakeholder, and they are also worker, and we must not forget that the workers also play a big role in the city. So we will have our trade workers and trade unions as stakeholder, and another one is the local authority. So that is important. So they keep our so they regulate so they regulate the law and regulations. So they are also a big part of the city stakeholder. So another one is community-based organization and civil society. So they might be small, but they are also a powerful stakeholder in the city that they can play a big role. And another one is business corporations, the entrepreneur. So because yeah, and another one is the religious leader. So when we talk about the religious leaders, then it includes include the Christian, Buddhist, Muslim, Hindu, and so on.
Order, yeah.
Yes, so they are also they are also a stakeholder because like they have some power. They also have some power, like in the city. So the next one is the government official, and the last one is the teacher and other professionals. So I mean, like when we talk about stakeholders, if we are going to do something, then when we try to discuss an important issue like an urban issue, like urban sustainability, we must not forget these people. So I mean, like we would like to be very inclusive. So so that is the reason why we add those people, these list as stakeholders. Thank you, Ajahn. So thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for group number 3, Future City. In my opinion, I think this is very hard group. It's the more difficult group because it's very hard to find what is the right directions, because it's about today, right? The topic is about today. It is right now, and the potential thing from your group is you are new generation, and you will dividing the new process. You see the new possibilities that is you have to creating from that, but your new possibilities could come up with the pilot design. I mean, like, you know that what the city had, like inequality, have the problems. You see many people from the top, from the bottom, but you have to connect with the networking. And that why question number 2 is so new, but it's just only an action. for the whole ecosystem. I couldn't see, right? Think about that. Like if you're providing eco-friendly space or place that you can protest, that you can learn, what next? People just sit out and protest, and what next? Who listen, right? You have to think about in the bigger pictures as economic, as ecologies, as one ecologies, right? If a government never listen, you can go globally. You can go to Asian country. You can make it big because you can connect by internet. You can connect by new networking. You have to think about it in the whole pictures and then zoom in because your research or your topic could not solve all of the problems. That's why question number one is so big. It's very big. They have much strong one single mission, but you have new possibility. You see that could happen, right? But you have to creating the relations and try to think new and think with new in the whole process. You will give new possibility, which is you can explore and experiment to make it real by your own way. I think this could be a new research, but don't forget, one research can never change the world, right? You could think in the whole pictures first and then understand the whole pictures and then zoom into the topics and then use new action with the whole ecologies. That's why your research will be useful, more useful. Right now, the potential thing that you see the new possibility, that's the key, right? But that possibility could be, how to say, like revealing and explaining for real things, not just only one action and that's it. Can you go to page number 4? I think that's nice that you think about E, page number 4, that could you click page number 4? Yes, okay. E-payment, right? I don't think e-payment is the right solutions, but decentralized financial is the bigger pictures, right? If you can creating some financial without the old centralized thing, that could make the main missions beyond, right? And also eco-friendly purpose, that is not strong. It could be anything. Eco-friendly purpose, what it could be. Right now, it's just an idea, right? I know it's meantime, but your research in this way as well. If you just want to connect people for protesting, or you want to elevate the beautiful city with many missions, your action will not that strong. You don't have a punchline. You just have a very many punch, but nothing happened. We need one big punchline to just one punch that can build up the whole system. I think in that way. So keep on good works and try to be like a bigger person thinking of the whole pictures. Okay.
I have something to add, only small things. I think the good point is you from this page, you draw up a lot of activities or places. I mean places in the cities, which in the other way we can think that these places make the city mix, right? And if you look closely, I think there are a lot of like entertainment or the third functions of the city. Residential is only one place, right? Okay. But I think for the stakeholders, actually it's a comment for every groups. Actually, I think Ajahn Poo like to add more groups, like the group that have left behind. For example, the homeless, or I think one group talk about the senior citizen or the elderly, and some people who at the what we call at the outer, not at the center. The people who at the
Marginal people?
marginal people, right? At the at the rim or brink of the area. Yeah, I think most group probably forgot about those groups. Actually, when we think about it, we can divide them into groups like governmental, non-governmental, and then private sectors, and then the marginal people, and then something like this. So you can cover all the groups, and then you can think more how they collaborate each other. I think this is my observations.
But anyway, thank you very much. That it's just very rough time. It's very mean time, 30 minutes, and you have done the work like this. I think it's very good start. And I think that brainstorming can make you friends virtually. I guess like you can make friends virtually for sure. That's it for the class. But last but not at least, like Ajahn Kai have something to tell to you. before-
Right. I think in the next 2 classes, actually it make like 4 weeks altogether, because in Thailand we have like the
National holiday.
national holidays. I don't know that you knew it already or not.
Next Tuesday is national holiday, so there's no class. But that's why Ajahn Kai will give you some article to read, and then there's something to prepare for the next 2 Tuesday,
Right. Because
Thursday.
as Tanpu mentioned, it seems that we draw you to the small things like neighborhood level first, and then going up to bigger things like the city, and then the like sustainable development goals. And what group, I think group 2 mentioned, or group 1 mentioned about the ideas, the concept that you like to know. Maybe we can cover it in the next 2 classes. So at first we like to start with, looking at cities. Do you know exactly what are they? Do you have the definition, and have you already got the specific idea? We just only talk about it as if we know it well, right? But probably we are not. So I ask you to look at this article, which I can put it in the chat for you to copy.
I
Or
can
I can
do later as well.
who can do that, right?
Yeah, I can copy it right now. Okay.
Okay, and then maybe I can share the task that I like you to do before next Tuesday that we meet.
We will meet at 21st July because next week we have holiday. So you read article.
So you, I think it's not the, can I show it? I play slideshow. Is it okay for you? Okay, so at first, I like to bring all of you to think about the definition of the city, and then we talk about it later. And this is what I like you to do before. So at first, read the article, of course, and it's about what is a city. And then on the 21st, you come back with a picture or a plan of your city by one of the definitions you read from the article. I hope you find something, and then I talked to Ajahn Poo that you can just snapshot your Google Maps, and then you draw lines or hatch to make it. This is my city. So your city, I am sorry that I didn't join the second class. So I think all of you have already present your place, right? Your city. But Ajahn Pu said somebody have like 2 cities. But I like to bring you all to the place where you call it hometown. So I think the city we feel home should be maybe more than one, of course, because nowadays we can travel a lot. But can you choose just one city that you feel that it's your home, and then come up with the plan, the photos of the plan of it to define your city. But after you read the article, maybe you understand how to show your boundary of your city. Okay, and then before the 21st
21st
Good.
July.
of July, could you download a program called Miro? You can go to miro.com. And it is a tool for us to play, actually. I like all of you to share your photos or your plans in one whiteboard. So during that time, I will share you my whiteboard, the link to enter my whiteboard, and then hopefully that you can put your photos on the whiteboard, and then we visualize it all at once together. Instead of present it one by one, we will show it and then we talk about it. I hope we can write something on it also. So if you like to play with it, you can go to miro.com and then have, what is it? You have to ask สมัครว่าอะไรคะ
register ครับผม
register, right? You have to register as a user and then you can use it. Okay.
It sounds
Any-
much, but you have 14 days. It sounds a lot, but you have 14 days to do. Just be relaxed, like just one day for reading and a couple of days for go mirror. That's fine.
You can do it on next Tuesday because it's class time, right? Okay. Any questions? Anybody have think that you will have problems to make your city, the maps or plans of your city? Show the boundaries, or I don't know, your city. Read and then you have an idea. What is your city? Show it in your maps. So we don't see the sign of questions. So I think that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ajahn Pranom, too,ครับ. And I will send the recording of this class and slide to the mail as usual. So maybe in the weekend when I have free time, I will send you the mail, slide, and recording so you can learn individually. And then that's it for today,ครับ. Thank you so much for being a good student. Okay, and we will see you guys in next 2 Thursday. Bye-bye. 21st July. See you guys one day.
See you.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Ajahn Pu.
Bye.
Thank you, Ajahn
So
Kai.
much, Ajahn.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
again.
Have a great weekend and holiday.
And you.
ผมปิดเลยนะครับอาจารย์
ค่ะ สวัสดีค่ะ